Today, we are diving into a topic that has completely changed my life: intuition, what it is, how to recognize it, and most importantly, how to trust it. Because for so long, I had no clue how to tell if I was feeling into my intuition or if it was just anxiety. I didn't know what to listen to or how to make decisions from a place of trust. But learning how to connect with my intuition has brought so much peace and alignment into my life, and I want that for you too. So, if you've ever found yourself overthinking, second guessing, outsourcing your truth, or wishing you had more clarity, this episode is for you. And so, what is intuition? And I want us to start simple here. Intuition is your inner knowing. It's that whisper, that nudge, that gut feeling that usually comes before your mind starts spinning. It's your subconscious, your body, and even your higher self speaking through a pull, a sudden feeling, a physical sensation like lightness or tightness, or just a deep, inexplicable sense of peace. And the really cool part about intuition is that it really shows up differently for everyone. Some people feel it in their chest, some in their stomach, some get a calm thought, and some just get this full body knowing. And intuition is quick. It often comes far before your logic has time to step in, like, I should text them, or I feel like I should go this way instead. And it's often soft, subtle, and it gets drowned out when your mind is loud. So if your mind is always noisy, how can you hear the whisper of your truth? And so that's why we're going to get into this later, but it's super important to really be able to connect to your intuition in quietness. And all of this isn't just a woo-woo thing. There is real science behind gut feelings, because your gut has over 100 million neurons, yes, like actual brain cells, and that's why it's often called your second brain. It sends signals to your actual brain and processes information in real time based on your environment, people, and experiences. And your conscious brain analyzes, but your gut senses. So your intuition works through the subconscious mind, which can process millions more data points than your conscious mind ever could. And that's why sometimes you just know something, but without being able to explain why exactly. But my biggest question when learning to trust my intuition and being like, okay, how do I trust it, is how do I know if it's intuition or just fear or anxiety talking? And these are the main differences. Intuition is very calm, subtle, and neutral, while fear and anxiety is loud, urgent, and panicky, and being like, I need to do this thing right now. Intuition comes quickly and then fades, while fear and anxiety comes with spiraling thoughts. Intuition feels like peace even when it's hard, and fear and anxiety feels like tension, tightness, or pressure. Intuition also feels very detached from the outcome. You're like, you know what, I'm doing what feels in alignment for me and this feels right. While when you're living in fear and anxiety, you're obsessed with getting it right and overthinking all of it and so like focused on the outcome. And then lastly, intuition feels expansive, light, and open, while fear and anxiety feels contracted, heavy, or buzzing. And an example of this is, let's say you're dating someone and you feel like someone's going to leave. So you break it off out of urgency, not alignment. And that is how you know your fear is leading. And a lot of the times we're just living from a place of the past or past experiences or other things that have happened. But true intuition would feel a lot more grounded. Like, something feels off. Let me ask questions. Let me see how I feel. And even if it's uncomfortable, I know what I need to do. And so the problem isn't like, oh, I need to end it. It is the fact that you feel so reactive to it and like, I need to get this done immediately. And so how do we strengthen our intuition and really start listening to it more? Because like a muscle, intuition gets stronger the more that you use it and trust it. And so some questions to ask is, what does my body feel like right now? Does it feel tight or open, or does it feel heavy? Another question is, what was my first gut reaction before I started thinking? Like, what was the first thing that I thought to do before I asked for everyone else's opinions? Another great question is, if I blocked out all of their opinions, what would I already know? Because I know a really big issue that I had was I was always outsourcing my answers to things. I was asking a million people, like, okay, how should I send this text? What outfit should I wear? What should I do about these things? And even those little things end up correlating to those bigger moments in our life. Another great question to ask is, have I felt this gut feeling before, and what happened then? And so really just like sitting with those thoughts and understanding it and being like, okay, how do I feel in these situations? And listening to yourself and tuning into yourself can really help. And a great way to practice all of this too is to meditate, be in quiet. So quiet the mind so your intuition can speak. Another great thing to do is body scan. So notice those physical sensations when you're making a decision. Like, how does it feel for you? Does it feel tight? Does it feel light? And a great exercise I love too is this 2-choice check-in. So imagine both options and then how does your body respond to each? Another great tool is this future self visualization. So ask your future self what decision they made and how it felt, because a lot of the times this is just our higher self speaking and they really do know the answers before we even know the answers. Another really important thing that I love to do too is just journaling. So the other day I was having an issue with, I just didn't know what to do about a situation. I felt really stressed about it, and at first I outsourced my truth. I was like, okay, I asked other people what I should do. And then I was like, you know what? This doesn't feel in alignment with me at all. I'm just going to journal about it. And when I was journaling about it and really tuning into myself, this answer came to me that I didn't even think about before. And I was able to trust it. And after doing that, I was like, oh my God, this is what intuition is. This is really about just listening to myself and feeling what would feel great for me. So when doing all of this, I just recommend start small, trust your nudges, and build a relationship with your intuition like you would with a friend. And of course, again, it builds trust. Like, you talk to it a little bit. You start with little things. You're like, okay, I'm going to ask it for this thing and see how it goes. And after a little bit of time, you really end up being able to trust it more, and you see that it really guides you exactly where you are meant to go, because deep down we all know exactly what we are supposed to be doing. And when we listen to our intuition and we trust that, it's so much easier to really like be led to where we're meant to go. And so some final truths that I want to leave you with is you were never meant to outsource your truth. So your truth comes from you and only you. Number 2, your intuition might not make sense to others, and that's okay, because this is your intuition and this is your life. Number 3 is you don't need to explain your knowing. Sometimes other people are not going to understand why you're doing it or what you're going for, and a lot of the times it's about just trusting and listening to yourself. And of course, it's okay to ask for people's advice and get their opinions, because maybe they know something that you don't, but at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. The next part of this is the more you listen, the louder it gets. And so again, start small and eventually it will grow. And lastly, remember that everyone is living through their own lens. So only you know what's right for you. And so we all have our own past experiences and things like that. And so when you are living under their past experiences and their life and their reflections, that is not in alignment with who you are and what you are meant to be doing.